Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing this evening on this terrific Tuesday? Oh my God, it is a beautiful day today. I hope everybody is doing well. Grace, favor, and protection to everyone in my Cocoon family. It's good to be here. I am Malachi, and I just wanted to just come and love on everybody today. Hope everybody's had the best day that they've ever had, and just keep on pushing. Man, I missed y'all so much. I had to come on a second day. I had to come on a second day and just see everybody and share the love. I know yesterday we talked about keeping on pushing, regardless of what life brings you and regardless as to who's running with you, who's walking with you, who's crawling with you. Just keep on pushing. But I just felt the need to come in and reiterate the nature of the cocoon, and I just like to love people. I just want to let everybody know that we're just here to love on each other, because this world shows you anything but, and sometimes it gets to the point where we're looking for love so hard because we've never experienced it, or we rarely experience it. Sometimes we don't even love ourselves, which what makes yesterday's conversation so needed. That's why it's difficult for so many people to go on and push on, is because, truth be told, it would be a lot smoother transition if we had that love. So for those persons that's going through things and they've been convinced that nobody knows what it's like to be me but me, and nobody's ever gone through this before but me. I'm the only one that's ever gone through it. I just want to encourage you and let you know, man, things happen universally to everybody. Some of the same things that you're going through and I've gone through. Some of the same things I've gone through, someone else has gone through. It's just that we just go through different things at different times. But I'm here to tell you that all of it is universal. We all go through it. And that's why the cocoon is so necessary, because someone who has gone through it, if we just allow ourselves the openness and the vulnerability to reach out, we'll find out that we have so much in common, even to the less desirable things, even to the things that's not the things we're proud of or the things we've gone through. We have so many things in common if we would just reach out. And I know a lot of times when you don't feel like anybody loves you because nobody has shown you the amount of love you've wanted in the past, it gives you little to no motivation to believe that someone will love you in the future. But let me, if I may, put this disclaimer out there. It's okay to love yourself. It is. It's okay to love yourself. And I say that because so many times when people make the decision to love themselves, they make it in a they mad, and they animosity. They're so mad at everybody for not loving them. I'll just love myself, and you're bitter about it. It's okay to love yourself while you're loving other people. You don't have to stop loving other people while you love yourself. You don't have to stop allowing people to love you while you love yourself. All of it works together. So it's not an isolation thing where you got to close the door and lock the door and pull the blinds down and just be isolated to love yourself. You can love yourself while loving other people. You can love yourself while they're loving you. But I encourage you to do that. And what I found out in just in a number of years of dealing with it on a regular basis from different places and different people, different backgrounds, that's something that we all seek after. Love is like money. No matter how much you have, you still want more of it. Like, nobody ever comes and says, I got enough money, I don't need no more. And that's the same way love is. No matter how much love you have, nobody's going to ever say, I got enough love, I don't need no more. Yeah, you always want more. Love is just something that you really just need and want and you desire. And so, like I said, it makes times where you got to keep pushing very difficult when you don't feel like no one loves you. But definitely, we need to get to that point where we can love ourselves. And that may be difficult because your upbringing, whatever direction that was, maybe it was with your mother, father, or your grandmother, your grandfather, or, in other types of situations, your upbringing and how you were brought up, that sets the stage for you. Whoever raised you or however you were raised, they set the stage and they kind of train you how to love based upon the amount of love they gave you or the amount of love they didn't. So when you come into this world, we don't even know what love really is and what it consists of. And so we learn love based upon what we're given as we grow. And then when somebody else comes around and gives us more or less love than what we're used to, then we use that to compare it. We compare it to what we had last. But if I can just caution us all, it's very difficult for others to love you when you don't love yourself. It's very difficult for them to successfully get it right. Because I believe, wholeheartedly, that's just my belief and the things that I've, learned over these many years. I just believe that the love that we're not giving ourselves, we demand from other people. We try to get other people to love us in the way that we won't love ourselves, or we can't love ourselves, or we don't. So it's almost like filling up a cup. If a cup is filled to the top, there's no way you can put any more contents in it. You can't pour anything else in it because it's filled to the top, so there's no more room. And that's the way it is with love. When you don't love yourself, that's like being hungry. You need some food. You need something in your stomach to be okay. Otherwise, you're going to continue to be hungry. And when you don't get it, you just get more hungry and more hungry and more hungry. And after a while, after going so long of being hungry, you don't even want any food anymore. You're no longer hungry. But that's a dangerous point to get to. So even with love, you want it and you want it and you want it. And after so long of wanting it and don't get it, we just get we get agitated, we get frustrated, and animosity builds up and bitterness grows, and all of a sudden I don't want it no more. But look at where the place you are now as a result of not wanting it. So I think one of the ways that we can assist in what we talked about yesterday about pushing on is to learn how to love ourselves. And, I'll just be transparent. Everybody doesn't know how to love themselves. Everybody doesn't. Good evening, Coach Gigi. Good to slap you in the building, family. Thank you for showing. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. If everybody was to really be truthful, there's a lot of people out there that would just say, I don't know how to love myself. And so I've got it in my mind that it's easier to make someone else love me than it is to love myself. Since I don't know how to love myself correctly, since I don't know what I need to do to love myself and fill my own cup, I'm going to look for someone else to do it. The dangerous part in that is when we're not willing to ask. We can just ask. We can go to that person and say, will you love me? Will you love me? That's right, Coach Gigi. That's right. A lot of people don't love themselves. And when we don't love ourselves, we force other people to do it, to make up for that lack. We recognize that there's a lack of love in our life, but we turn to other people to try to get it from them instead of reaching in and love ourselves. And if we're just open to say, hey, I don't know how to do that, I really believe we can get further by just admitting, I don't know what it takes to love myself. I don't know how to love myself. I don't know what that consists of. Then the more you learn how to love yourself, not from a place of bitterness and animosity, but from a place of fulfillment, you really stop requiring others to love you. It's not an angry thing. It's not a bitter thing. It's, you don't have to love me. No, you're able to. It's like being full. After you've eaten, someone offers you something. You say, no, thank you. I'm full. I'm full. I don't need anymore. So once you're able to get that fulfillment out of what it feels like to love yourself, you're able to engage with the love of others. You're able to love people better, but you're also better. It's easier to receive their love because it's not a demand. Most people demand love because they're starving, like food. You're hungry. You're starving. It's been a long time since you ate, and you just starved. The bad part about that is, thank you, Coach. The bad part about that is you go on a rampage and you starving, and you just want it. You end up taking it from the wrong place or asking for it the wrong place. You end up getting love the wrong way from the wrong direction because you're willing to take anything. And that's another topic all by itself. That's consequences all by itself. That's another realm of devastation all by itself. And as we've grown up, even some of us from children, from birth, as little kids, we've been starving for that attention. We've been starving for that love. We've been starving for to matter in certain people's lives. And even as a young child, you can have the right intention, but you can still go and ask the wrong person to love you, and it turns out even worse. So I really do think that if we can just get to a point where we can find a way to love ourselves. Just like it's people out there willing to use you and manipulate you and tell you the wrong answer, there are also people out there that love you and appreciate and value you and will love you enough to tell you the right answer. So just because one person or two people tell you the wrong thing, I can see where we would close up and want to be on guard and oh my God, somebody's going to try to take advantage of me. Yeah, that might be true. There are people out there that will try to take advantage of you. You are absolutely right. But I also believe that there are people out there that will love us enough to help us answer that question. How do I love myself? That is a question that a lot of people have. They're just not willing to open up and say it out loud. But truthfully, you can do that. You can love yourself, you can love others, and you can accept love from other people from a place of fulfillment. That doesn't have to be a place of bitterness. You don't have to get so mad and so angry and so bitter to the point where you just don't want to do nothing no more. You don't have to get to that point. You don't have to. But it's just something that I feel like we need to do. It's a place that we need to get to, because once we get to that place of being able to truly love ourselves, it opens up doors for so many other things. It opens up the doors for so many other things. And let me just put this out there. And I'm saying this as far as us loving ourselves, and I'm also saying this as far as other people loving us. Giving you your way, someone giving you your way is not the best example of love. It's not. So if you grade love on how many yeses you get and how many people give in to what you want, I think that's a misrepresentation of what love is. I really do. So we learn to love ourselves, and you can't always tell yourself yes. It's not who gets their way the most. It's not that. Because even love has a lot to do with training and developing and pushing you to be better. If I just give you yes to everything and I give you your way with everything you want, that's not me loving you. That's me setting you up for failure. That's me setting you up for failure. So, someone may be asking, well, Malachi, why do you say I don't love myself? What makes you think I don't love myself? Well, first and foremost, what makes me believe that we need to work on loving ourselves a little bit more is because if you look at how some of us treat ourselves, and you look at how you allow someone else to treat you, you'll stop a person from treating you a certain kind of way You'll put your foot down and you demand, I am not going to let you treat me like this. But if you look at how you treat you just as bad as the other person. You won't let anybody else treat you bad, but you allow yourself to treat you bad. None of us treat ourselves the best. Even for me, if you look at me and you look at my physical body, you can say, okay, well, Malachi, you're not treating yourself the best because you need to eat properly. You need to watch your diet. Okay, that's an example of not treating myself right there. That's a way of not loving myself right there. Someone else, you might drink, you might smoke, you might do other things that put your physical body at risk. That's not loving yourself. I mean, look at the things that you do with your body physically. That's not the best representation of what it means to love yourself. Look at the stress that you allow yourself to be under. That's not loving yourself. You're allowing yourself to be under stress. Certain people that you just have to have around you, and you just don't know what you're going to do without these set of people, and you take how they treat you and you allow them to treat you any kind of way, and you allow their toxicity to be around you. That's not loving you. That's not the best representation of you loving yourself either. Good evening, family. Glad to have you in the building. Glad to see you. That's not a good representation of you loving yourself either. So we're on point, some of us, with stopping other people from mistreating us. And we put our foot down when other people mistreat us. But I would put that out there that I believe no matter where you are in life, I think we can all do a better job at loving ourselves. Taking better care of our spirituality. Loving ourselves mentally and emotionally. Some of us more so than others. Some of us are emotional wrecks. Some of us are emotional wrecks, and it's what we put in our bodies. What you put in got to come out. It's like a funnel. So you think about all those things. I want you to think about it for a second, not just from a physical fries. Don't look at it from a physical standpoint. You just eat fried foods every day. You don't eat any vegetables or fruit. Don't look at it like that. Look at it from a whole picture. Good evening, family. Glad to see you in the building, Charles. Look at it from a spiritual standpoint. What are you putting into your body spiritually? Whatever you allow to go into your body spiritually, it's going to come out at some point. What are you allowing to be put in your body mentally, emotionally? Physically, it's just one aspect of it. Even if you focus on just one, I've covered that several times, you're still going to be unbalanced. You can work out in the gym every day. You can eat broccoli every day. You can carrots and asparagus, and you can just vegetarian, vegan. You can do all that. And you could be in the most tip-top shape physically and then still be dying emotionally. You can still be dying spiritually and still be off balance. So don't look at it as just one direction. I think we need to start loving ourselves all the way across the board. Some of us, and when I say this loosely, I don't mean relationship, meaning significant other. It could be significant other, it could be brother, it could be sister, it could be you. A lot of times we're quick to point the finger how other people are toxic, but all in all, we could be the one toxic. All of these things contribute to you not loving yourself. And wherever we short ourselves, we shortchange ourselves so much. We shortchange ourselves so much. And when we shortchange ourselves, we demand other people pick up the slack. You want other people to love you more than you love you. So I really sincerely believe that it starts with the individual. If you don't know how to love yourself, there's no shame in reaching out. There's no shame. The shame is in staying like you are. Wherever that is, the shame is in staying like you are. There's no shame in getting better. If the point is to get better, then there's no shame in that. There's no shame in raising your hand and saying, I need help with this. I don't know how to love myself. I just don't. I don't know. I used to love myself. Now I don't. Or it may be a situation where it's hard for you to love yourself because you don't even know yourself. You've changed so many times to fit the criteria of somebody else to the point where you don't even know who you are anymore. And if you don't know who you are, it's kind of hard to love you if you don't know you. So you may need to go back even further to find out who you really are. And I'm just going to put this out there just in case somebody thinks that their real self is gone. Your real self never leaves. You were born with it. You were created with your real self. Is it a lot of junk piled on top of it? A lot of garbage built on top of it? Yeah, it is. But your real self never goes away. It never disappears. The question is, are you willing to go through what it takes to dig your real self from up under that garbage? Are you willing to go through the struggle to dig yourself out that hole? The real you is down there somewhere, and you just got to care enough to go find it. Once you care enough to go find the real you and get back acquainted with the real you, then you can start loving the real you. And then you won't require so much love from other people. It's not going to be a requirement. Are you still going to want it? Yeah, you're still going to want it. Everybody wants to be loved by other people. That's a human trait. So you're not going to completely just stop wanting the love, but you will be at a place of contentment if you don't get it. You will not have to demand it anymore. Some of us got people on lockdown, like, you gonna love me and you better love me, and you just demanding love from everybody, and you feel slighted, you feel hurt, you feel devastated when you don't get it. But you're forcing too many people, I'm forcing too many people, we're forcing too many people to do what we're not willing to do for ourselves. You would rather just demand somebody else love you than you love yourself. And I think that's something we need to just redirect. We need to redirect the arrow. So once we're able to start loving ourselves, then the things that were discussed on yesterday, it just looks different. The vantage point is now changed. Everything, now those goals seem obtainable. Now, if you're not waiting on people to love you, you're loving yourself. Now you're not having to wait on people to validate you. Now you're not having to wait on people to go with you and walk with you. You're more comfortable and more confident to move by yourself, as we were talking about yesterday. You're waiting on somebody to go with you because psychologically that kind of sort of means they love you. So all of that's wrapped up in there into one. So if you now are taking the ownership of your life and saying, it's my responsibility to love me. It's not that you don't care if they don't love you. It's just the fact that you're not waiting on them to love you. So now you're concentrating on loving you. Now you're more appreciative of the love that you receive from other people. And it's not a devastating effect anymore. It's not oh my God, what am I going to do? Nobody loves me. When people say nobody loves me, you have to understand that part of that nobody is you. Nobody loves me. Yeah, you don't love you either. And that's the most damaging of it all. That's the most damaging portion of that statement. Nobody loves me. Once we get to the point where we start loving us, that statement won't come out of our mouths as much as it has in the past. So I encourage everybody to, for those that it apply, it's only for those that it apply. Let's start loving ourselves. And I know that's easier said than done, especially for those that have no clue as to what love consists of. You ask what love consists of from 100 different people, you'll probably get 100 different answers. So it's just a matter of, what is it? And check what you're doing, giving out to people, because I will say this, I hate it when folks say one thing and they do something else. So if you go down the line and you say, well, this is what love is to me, ask yourself, are you giving that exact type of love to other people? it's going to be very difficult for you to request a certain type of love from someone, but you're giving out a different type of love back to them. So whatever you describe as love, we're not going to say there's a right or wrong answer. My definition of love may be different from yours. It's not a right, it's not a wrong. What makes it wrong in my eyes is when you're trying to do different than you're asking. So if you go down the line and you say, well, this is love to me, this is what love is, then as long as you're giving out that same exact demonstration, okay, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. It's only when you're giving out the opposite of what you're trying to take in that becomes a problem, and then that's where unhappiness comes in. You're sliding the scale. Let's not slide the scale, because in my opinion, love doesn't do that. So that's one of my criteria of love. My criteria of love doesn't slide scales. So I just wanted to share that as it connects with what was going on yesterday, what we talked about yesterday. Going all out. I believe we're so guarded, and so we want love, but we're scared of it at the same time. We want it. Oh my God, I wish somebody would just love me for me. And then so many of us are so heartbroken because of past counterfeits. I'll say that. We're so hurt by past counterfeits of what they projected love to be, to where we fall in danger of not even recognizing it when it comes. We don't even recognize it when it comes. And when I say love, like I said before, I'm not talking about a romantic, intimate love. Somebody might love you enough to come alongside you and help you accomplish your goal and your dreams. Like I said, the people that are assigned to us, they're waiting on us. But if they're assigned to us and they come knocking on our door because we're so scared and closed in and apprehensive about everything, are we going to recognize them when they come? Being able to love yourself helps your vision. It helps all of your senses. When you start to love yourself, you start to see clearer. Your vision becomes much clearer. You're able to hear clearer. Your spirituality is different. Everything becomes different in your world. Everything. The way you send out things, the way you receive things, the way you see things, the way you view things, everything about you changes once you learn how to love yourself. So for those that do know how to love themselves, hey, just you can never have too much love, ever. Let's continue to do that. Continue to do that to the point where it oozes out, to the point where you got so much love for yourself that it gets on somebody else. That's what we want. We want to love ourselves so much to the point where it just overflows onto another person. That's really how it's supposed to work. Honestly and truthfully, y'all, that's really how it's supposed to work. Because if it's overflowing to somebody else, you ain't got to lend it out. You ain't got to borrow it, because you're self-sufficient. When you're self-sufficient, you don't have to borrow it. You go to the bank for a loan and you got all those charges and all that interest, and oh my God, it's just so much when you have to borrow. And then you got those people that have to remind you every day that they loaned it to you. So it just makes for a very uncomfortable place when you have to borrow and loan. But if you're self-sufficient, then you don't have to borrow anything from anybody, which means you don't have to give it back. If you're one of those people and you say, hey, I don't really know how to love myself. I have misconceptions and misinformed information about what love is. Hey, let's have a conversation about it. Let's have a conversation about it. That's what the cocoon is for. The cocoon is for anything and everything that you want to discuss for the potential of correcting a wrong. Some shape, form, or fashion, we have all gone in the wrong direction, or some of us are currently going in the wrong direction as we speak. But the cocoon is available so we can get the right answer, and we don't have to go in the wrong direction tomorrow. The question is, are we taking advantage of that? Because that's one of the things that we constantly ask in our higher power for. Lord, help me, help me, help me, help me. So are you recognizing it? Do we recognize it when the help comes? Some of us have questions right now that we're just so uneasy about asking. That's what this chat room is for. Is to get those questions answered if we're willing to be open. If you're saying, well, the reason why I have a hard time loving myself is because I don't even know myself anymore. I don't know me. Hey, let's have a conversation about that. Whatever needs to happen for us to live a better life tomorrow than we live today, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. So many people just live in silence and they never get their issues and their challenges dealt with. And that just opens up the door for things like depression and worse, suicidal thoughts, because we've been convinced that nobody cares. So let's do what we can to do away with those. Sometimes we got to cut those thoughts off before they even show up. We got to do what we can to cut those thoughts off before they show up. So hats off to your family. I love you. I love you for continuing to keep going. No matter what the situation is, like I said yesterday, even if you're in a position where you're crawling, just hats off to you for just choosing to continue to go on, hoping that tomorrow will be better. I am here for you. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that other family members are here for you as well. Let's just grow as a family. Let's get to the point where we overflow on each other if we can. So I love you. If you need to get in contact with me for any reason, you can at anointingminds@gmail.com. I encourage all of you to post chats in the group, post things in the group. I appreciate each and every family member for sharing. It's good to know that I'm not the only one posting things in the group. I love the encouragement. I love the upliftment. But I'm going to also say, hey, sometimes we're not going to say it out loud, but getting kicked in the butt, that's a form of encouragement too. Because I don't expect anybody that loves me to sympathize with me every single day in every single situation. Because sometimes we can sympathize each other to the point of unproductiveness. You know, you can sympathize with somebody so much to the point where that person becomes unproductive. Because you just told them too many times that it's all right. I'm all right with you telling me it's all right, but you need to have a comma behind that. Because if you just leave a period right there and say it's all right, you're giving me permission to stay where I am. You're telling me that where you are is all right. And I don't want anybody telling me that. Even if I'm in a good place, it's not okay to stay at that good place. Even if I'm in a B minus, it's not okay to stay at that B minus. I'm shooting for a B plus. I'm shooting for an A minus. Always pushing to get better. So, yeah, you're encouraging me, but make sure you have a comma and tell me where I can still improve. Because you're interested in my success. You're invested in my success. So I encourage each and every one of you, if you are posting, continue to post. If you haven't started posting yet, I encourage you to do so. I encourage you to do so, to be yourself. Ask questions, make statements, anything that you think is going to lead to the betterment of yourself and or other people. That's what I encourage that you post. That's what I encourage you to post. Some of it, and just to throw this out there, me personally, I think when it comes to spirituality is more of an action than a word. So I'm not against anybody posting any spiritual verses or Bible verses or putting any sermons. I'm not against any of that. I've just chosen myself to have a conversation. I do know that there are persons out there that are really quick to give us scripture, and scripture is fine. Scripture is great. But if I'm getting ready to talk to a homeless person, the first thing I'm going to try my best to do is resolve that homeless person's issue. I'm going to show the love that I'm getting ready to talk about. Because sometimes when you want to talk about it first and you don't show it, people have a tendency to look at you funny when you don't show it. So I'm all about showing it. Let me show the love that I'm speaking about. Let me listen to you. Let me see what your issue is or your challenge is. And let's see if we can work towards that resolve. Let's see if we can work towards fixing what's going on. And then maybe if you just happen to ask, well, Malachi, what makes you do what you do? I take that opportunity then and there to say, hey, this is why I do what I do, because of my religious beliefs, my spiritual beliefs, because God is this, God is that. Now I take the opportunity to verbalize because you asked the question. But if we can show it from our actions. I think that will be a better representation of what's going to come out of our mouth if we can show it. And as always, continue to invite. I love each and every one of the members that we have currently. But there's somebody out there that haven't heard about us. Maybe you don't need to open up. Maybe you don't need to say anything. But I'm guarantee you there's someone that you know that may be able to benefit from what is going on here. Or maybe someone here can benefit from the presence of someone that has not yet joined. So what if we're in a situation where somebody you know has something to benefit someone that's already here? You know, I love people when they join because that just gives me a different perspective on how to view life. No one anywhere knows everything. No one knows all the answers. So I encourage you to continue to invite your friends, your family, your coworkers, anybody that you know that can and we can empower each other and we can grow together and walk together. Family, thank you for taking the time to listen to me this evening. I hope everybody continues to enjoy the rest of their day. Have a terrific Tuesday, and I will talk to you soon.